Have you ever asked yourself, is what I'm hearing actually logical? Have you ever felt that you were right in an argument, but you lost simply because the other person was somehow more persuasive? Have you ever wondered how your mind tells the difference between fact and fiction, between a strong argument and a weak one? Welcome to Cogito, the channel that will take you on a journey deep inside the human mind. I'm here to tell you that all of these questions have a single answer, and it's hidden within an ancient and fascinating science: the science of logic. Many people think logic is just a complicated philosophical subject or a bunch of meaningless mathematical symbols. But the truth is, logic is the operating system for your mind. It's the tool you use every day, every hour, and every minute, often without even realizing it. In this video, we will discover together what logic truly is, how it came to be, and why understanding it will change the way you see the world forever. So get ready, because our journey is about to begin. Simply put, logic is the science of correct reasoning. It's the set of rules and principles that helps us distinguish between a good argument and a bad one. Imagine your mind is a courtroom and your thoughts are on trial. Logic is the judge who weighs the evidence, which we call premises, to deliver a fair verdict, which is the conclusion. Let's take a very simple example. Asterisk, the first premise is, all humans are mortal. Asterisk, the second premise is, Socrates is a human. Asterisk, the logical conclusion is, therefore Socrates is mortal. This is what we call deduction. Logic doesn't care if you like Socrates or not, or if the idea of death makes you uncomfortable. It only cares about the structure of the argument. Does the conclusion necessarily follow from the premises? If the answer is yes, then the argument is logically valid. But logic isn't just about rigid deductions like this. There's also informal logic, which we use in our daily lives, in our discussions, and in evaluating the news we hear. This type of logic helps us spot what are known as logical fallacies. Things like the straw man fallacy, where you misrepresent your opponent's argument to make it easier to attack. Or the bandwagon fallacy, which claims that everyone is doing it, so it must be right. Or the ad hominem fallacy, which is attacking the person instead of discussing their idea. These are just simple examples, but they happen all around us all the time. Logic gives you the shield to detect these intellectual tricks. You might be surprised to learn that this science wasn't born in a modern laboratory, but in the bustling markets and dusty streets of Athens more than 2,400 years ago. Before Aristotle, philosophers like Socrates and Plato used dialogue and debate to search for truth, but their discussions often lacked a structured framework. Then came Plato's student, the man who would change everything, Aristotle. Aristotle was obsessed with organization. He looked around and saw chaos in arguments and debates, so he decided to establish laws of thought. He compiled his logical works into a massive collection he called the Organon, which means the tool. For Aristotle, logic was the essential tool that every thinker had to master before studying any other science. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the flame of logic nearly went out in Europe, but it found a new and welcoming home in the Islamic world. During the Abbasid Caliphate, Aristotle's works were translated into Arabic. But Muslim philosophers were not just translators. Scholars like Al-Farabi, who was called the second teacher after Aristotle, and Ibn Sina, who developed his own system of logic, took Aristotle's work, explained it, criticized parts of it, and made fundamental additions. Even Imam al-Ghazali, who was critical of some aspects of philosophy, famously said, "He who does not know logic, his knowledge is not to be trusted." He understood that logic is a neutral tool that can be used in the service of any science. Now let's fast forward to the 19th and 20th centuries. This is where logic marries mathematics. Philosophers like George Boole and Gottlob Frege developed symbolic logic, which uses symbols instead of words. And this development wasn't just an intellectual exercise. This symbolic logic is the language spoken by the very computer you're using to watch me right now. Every if-then statement in programming, every Google search you perform, every algorithm that suggests a new video to you, it's all built on the strict principles of logic. Okay, so it's a beautiful and exciting history. But what does any of this have to do with you, right here in 2025? The connection is bigger than you can imagine. Learning the basics of logic is like having a built-in lie detector. First, you'll make better decisions. Your life is a series of choices. Logic helps you analyze your options, weigh the pros and cons, and make a decision based on sound reasoning, not just emotion. Second, you can protect yourself from manipulation. We live in an age of information and disinformation. Advertisements, political speeches, and social media posts are all trying to convince you of something. By understanding logical fallacies, you'll be able to distinguish a real argument from misleading propaganda. Third, you'll communicate more effectively. Do you want to be more persuasive in your work or your studies? Logic teaches you how to build your arguments on a solid and clear foundation. And finally, you'll become a better problem solver. When you face a complex problem, logic gives you the tools to break it down into smaller parts, analyze each one, and systematically arrive at a solution. In short, logic is not an intellectual luxury, it's an essential life skill. The science of logic, which began as whispers in the halls of Greek philosophy and traveled across civilizations, is now the invisible force that shapes our digital world and guides our thinking. It's not just a science of right or wrong. It's the art of thinking with clarity. It's a constant invitation to question our own beliefs and the beliefs of others. It reminds us that a strong argument doesn't depend on who shouts the loudest, but on who builds their reasoning most solidly. This video is just the beginning. Here on Cogito, we will dive deeper into this amazing world. We'll talk about different types of reasoning, we'll analyze the most famous logical fallacies, and we'll explore how the greatest thinkers used logic to change the world. So, if you're ready to sharpen your mind, challenge your ideas, and discover the immense power of structured thinking, then you've come to the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be part of our next journey. And let me know in the comments, what is the most common logical fallacy you encounter in your daily life? Thank you for watching, and always remember, think, question, and never accept an idea without evidence. I'll see you in the next video.